Hey guys, I'm coming to you with a show and tell of my Colourpop palettes, some mini reviews, as well as some information to help you decide which ones you actually need or should get, if you will. So Colourpop has released quite a bit of palettes in their lifetime, and they are constantly releasing more with their most recent Fame and Fortune palettes being released. I don't have those here. But I have 10 palettes, one of which I haven't even dived into yet. However, with the way Colourpop shadows and everything is, I still can give you a little bit of an opinion on it already. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all the palettes that I have in no particular order, and then I'll get into all the information. So, like I said, no particular order. The first palette is the Element of Surprise. I did my best to try to clean them off from like swatches and you know how palettes get messy, but for sake of aesthetics, but it is what it is. So this is the Element of Surprise palette. Alright, this one's fairly new to me. The first four I'm showing you are actually the newer ones that I have that I purchased. This is Give It To Me Straight. I love the size of these palettes and everything. This is Dream Street, the collaboration with Katheleenlights. This is Double Entendre. Ooh, Candace, get your life together. This is Cute AF, aka the Yes Please palette. This is the Femme Rosa palette. My Little Pony. I Think I Love You. All I See Is Magic. And the most recent Perception palette, which is their collab with Makeup Shayla. This is the one I haven't even dived into yet. Okay. So, first off, let's get into some logistics. So, most of Colourpop's palettes are this size here, 12 pan eyeshadow palettes. Out of the ones that I have, the Perception palette is larger in the sake of it has 16 shadows, and the All I See Is Magic is larger with having 15 shadows. Okay, so you can see there. Makeup Shayla's palette is the only palette that I own that has a mirror. Colourpop's palettes usually don't have a mirror. Actually, I just received this replacement because when I ordered it, the one came with the mirror shattered. So, they did replace it though. No problems. So, maybe that's why they don't put mirrors in them. I don't know. Okay, but most of them are 12 pan this size. I think it's a really nice size. When I first saw the Yes Please palette, which was their first palette, it was hard to tell how big it was going to be. And then when I got it, I was like, oh, it's not that big. But it's more than enough. Also, I just dropped. Also, all of the palettes, the small palettes, this 12 pan size, are $16, okay? Are $16. The larger ones are around the $20 mark. Makeup Shayla's was $22, and the All I See Is Magic was $18. So yeah, you're talking affordable around that price point. Also, another thing, every palette, the pans pop out. They're magnetic. As this is the My Little Pony, as I tried to knock one of them out to show you, I knocked 6 out. So now I have to look at a picture to see which ones go back where in the right spots. Which is convenient, and so it saves you the struggle of depotting the palettes. Depotting the palettes, and they literally just pop into something else if you want them all in one spot, which is really convenient. I really appreciate Colourpop for doing that. However, like I said, no mirrors. The pans also aren't labeled here. They aren't labeled on the palette, but in fact, the names are always on the back. Every shade has a name, but it's on the back. So with that being said, once you pop a pan out, unless you label them yourself, you kind of don't know what it is. Also, in the Colourpop palettes, their pans are much smaller than a standard 26mm eyeshadow. They're about the size of a... I don't even know where that went, you guys. They're about the size of a nickel. So yeah, that's something to take into consideration if, you know, all those type of things. Now, the ones that you really like, or the ones that you should really get. So many reviews on them. I'm just going to talk through my collection and things like that. I will say this. I'll start with the ones that are really, really similar. And that is their neutral-ish palettes. So, for example, this is the Double Entendre. Browns, it's kind of boring. The quality of the shadows is lovely. Colourpop makes some really great pressed eyeshadows. I don't have any issues. The mattes are blendable and pigmented. The metallics are beautiful and shiny. I don't have any issues with the quality of their shadows. However, just opening them all up. Okay, so you have Double Entendre, right? And then you have I Think I Love You, which is in similar, it's in the same packaging, and these are the two palettes. I Think I Love You has a black and a yellow in it. Okay? And then Give It To Me Straight is a little bit similar as well. I'll try to hold all three up. Just Give It To Me Straight. You don't need all of these palettes. You don't need all three of them. I mean, if you, for sake of collecting, I think they're great. But, Candace, get your words together. Double Entendre and I Think I Love You, I think, are just too similar to have both of them. They are a situation where it's like you switch up two shades and then there you go. The Double Entendre does have more mattes, but the I Think I Love You has a little bit more metallics in it. So that's something you might want to take consideration. Both of these are actually found at Ulta. I personally like the Double Entendre a little bit better. I'm into that warm brown situation. Even though this has more metallics in it, just personal preference. That black kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. Because with these type of shades, I wouldn't even use a black. I would use like a deep chocolate brown to darken everything up. And that black kind of just sticks out. Like it just doesn't, I don't know. So that's how I feel about the ones that are really similar. However, those two, like I said, I picked the... I picked the Double Entendre. I picked that one, but out of all three, I would actually top it off. I would pick Give It To Me Straight. The simple reason is because the color scheme is not just brown. It has warmth, but it also has some berry in there. Some berry, some copper shades, as well as a dark chocolate, rich chocolate brown instead of a black that I would appreciate. This is more cohesive to me, and it's not as boring, and you can get a little bit more fun, and even a little bit pop of color as opposed to the other two. So now we've just knocked out two, and we picked one out of those. Okay, and then for the palettes that aren't a collab, that will give you, I guess, even more color, you have the, well, I guess the My Little Pony is a collab. So the My Little Pony, the Element of Surprise, okay, and then the Yes Please. If you watch my videos when that came out, you know I absolutely love that palette. So out of the three of these, the My Little Pony, the Element of Surprise, and the Yes Please, the My Little Pony can go. It's too almost juvenile for me. The colors, like I said, the quality is nice, but that they have some iridescent. It's just not my flavor. It's not my, yeah. There's like three frosty shades in there that I'm just not gonna. That's all, just personal preference. I'm not into it. However, if you are into My Little Pony, just for the sake of collecting, that's actually really cool. But yeah, so now we're down to Elements of Surprise and Yes Please. This is all due to personal preference. I think both of these palettes are fabulous. This Element of Surprise gives that neutral situation, but it also gives a pop of color with the pink as well as some berry and copper shades down at the bottom. And then you can even use this kind of warm tan here to do some things and define some things. It is really, really nice, and this is one that I wouldn't mind like keeping if I had to purge all of them. However, Yes Please tops it off from the top. This is definitely something that, if you are a warm person, this is the only palette, like this is it. This palette, I travel with this palette, I'm gonna tell you that now. Like when I went to IMATS, okay, I knew I wanted to use such as I had time to plan and everything like that. But if it's like a situation, because I'm talking too fast. When I went to IMAX, I had some other special palettes I wanted to use because, you know, it's a whole thing, glitter and all that. However, any other time that I travel, this is what I throw in my bag. Even if I want to use another palette, I throw it in my bag. If that doesn't work out, this always will work out. This will give me a warm look. It will give me a warm, almost smoky type of look, especially with that deep one down there. It gives me pops of color with the yellow, with the orange, with that brick red. The metallics are wonderful. I have an inner corner highlight. I have a face highlight if I need it. This warm palette, I have a whole review on this. I'll link it down below. I have a whole review on this palette because it is, Colourpop took that whole trend of warm eyeshadow palettes, 12 key shades, and nailed it. They nailed it with this. This is the one I'm going to recommend above all other Colourpop shadow palettes. This is the one. Yes, please. First one. Wonderful. All right, so what do we have left? What do we have left? So we have, before I get into the collabs, we have this palette here, All I See Is Magic. They have another large palette, and I forgot what it's called, but I don't have it. This one, it almost, I can't put it in any other category. I actually like this palette as well. This is one I definitely would recommend. The reason why is because, one, you have more shades in here. However, the focus of this palette, the magic of this palette, if you will, is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 metallic shiny satin finish shades. This is my favorite shade, you guys. Anything blue brown dupish, this is my favorite shade in here. It's definitely a dual chrome. That's wonderful. It gives you a lot of unique, like, metallics. These can be pops of colors, lid shades, inner corner shades, lower inner rim shades. This palette, I think, complements a neutral palette really well. It doesn't have very many, I mean, these are considered neutrals, but the mattes are just staple mattes aside for this berry shade here. But these shades here are the stars. You can get a complete look with this palette, but I think this palette will complement, like, if you had this and a neutral palette, and you're like, okay, these are my, I don't know, it's cohesive. Like I said, you can get a complete look out of it. However, I don't know, those 8 shades are all beautiful to me, and they definitely do well with anything. Like, look at that one. That's Hopi Gold. That's beautiful. So Colourpop did really well with this one. I put it in its own category because it's own thing. I don't think you can repeat these with any of the other palettes. I don't think there's no similar shades in this palette that are in the other ones. That's why it's its own category, and I definitely recommend it. Now, the third category of shadows that I have is the collabs, all right? Like I said, Makeup Shayla, I did not put it on the eyes yet. Like, I did not play with it yet. However, I am used to Colourpop's formula. I've swatched them. That palette, I have enough information to tell you, like, okay, this is worth investigating. I've used enough of them to know. So I'm judging them based on the color scheme, as all of these are based on the color scheme. Alright, so you have Katheleenlights Dream Street Katheleenlights palette. First off, this is the best packaging. This in Perception top the packaging. Wonderful packaging. That's the only thing about the Yes Please palette. This was their first, I'm guessing, experimenting. This white, it's so dirty. Yeah, anyway. Dream Street Katheleenlights in Colourpop. Let's look at this one again. Neutral, but it has a metallic, this matte green, yeah, matte green, this matte, like, teal blue, and you got this pop of brick there, and then you get some metallics and mattes. Okay, so you have that one. Then you have Femme Rosa Colourpop, Femme Rosa, the She palette. It's a collaboration with Carucci. Whew, that was a lot. And you got this here. It's a lot softer. It's a really soft, rosy, floral type of palette. And then you have Perception, okay? Then you have Perception. All right. So, this decision that I made when I was thinking about this was pretty hard. First one we're going to eliminate is the Colourpop She. In my opinion, it's just boring. It's pretty. I got pretty looks out of it. The mauves and purples, and it's just boring to me. The color scheme is there. This is your type of color scheme, but this is just like, it's not unique enough, and you can dupe these shades within the other palettes that I named. That's one of the things that's like, it's not unique enough, this color combination. So we're already getting rid of that one. We're already getting rid of that one. Okay, so wait, I lost where I was going. Okay, so then you have the Katheleenlights Dream Street. I love this palette. This is one of the new ones I just purchased. It's at Ulta. I purchased it last week, 2 weeks ago, and I am just in love with it. I knew I wanted it from the beginning. Just took me a while to hop on it. But the reason why I like this palette, it's just this color combination is unique enough to me where I'm like, when I say unique enough, it's one of those situations where if I'm just picking out makeup, I'm looking through all my shadows, I might have not necessarily thought to put these two shades together or to put this together. Do you understand what I'm saying? It makes me look and be like, oh, that's new. That's interesting. The mattes are warm enough for me. There's not any shades in here that's too light for me or my skin tone. You understand? That's one thing that I also look at. I can use all of these shades on my skin tone and not be ashy, if you will. Even this one down here has a little depth to it. My hand is so dirty. Has a little depth to it that it's almost taupey gold. Right down there. Beautiful. This matte green, I mean, I have to swatch it. So you guys, look at that. Look at that. All right, as well as the other one, which is definitely a metallic. Look at that. Beautiful, okay? So that, you have that one, and then you go to Makeup Shayla. So one thing that I do appreciate about Makeup Shayla is there are multiple pops of color. However, there are 4 more shades than in the smaller palettes. So you have to take that into consideration. So you do get this pop of orange, which is called Thick, that I love. And this is one of the best oranges. It's actually better than the orange in the Yes Please palette. Okay. And as well as the blue 14. It's a deeper blue. It's not my favorite blue, but it's a beautiful blue. Alright. And then you also have this sassy shade, which you know I peeped this from the beginning. It reminds me of a blue brown, MAC blue brown, but it's more brown than blue. It's literally like a brown blue. It's that duochrome, same finish, same flavor to it. I'm going to put it next to the other one. This one's more blue, this one's more brown. I really like that. Okay, so out of these two, based on color selection, if you had to buy one, Candace, if you had to buy one, can you guys guess? If I had to buy one, which one am I buying? If I had to buy, I'll give you like 2 seconds. It's a tie. I'm gonna be honest with you. It is a tie. So the reason why I could not choose between these two, it's one of the situations I'm not telling you to buy both, but it's coming down to preference. If you want to spend a little bit less money, or if you don't mind spending a little bit more money, you want a little bit more shades. I can't get over the fact that Sassy, which is like that blue brown dupe I was telling you about, as well as that orange, and even it's just these colors work. It's almost like a complete situation. Down the bottom, let me hold the palette correctly. Down the bottom, these neutrals here is enough you need for your crease to deepen up an outer corner. These metallics here, Diva and TF, I mean, those are your gold shades that I love so much. Those are my warm golds that I really appreciate. However, with this Dream Street, those 2 greens and that brick are enough to be unique where I'm like, I don't want to be without these shades either. So it's one of those situations where it's personal preference. So out of the 10 palettes that I have here, I'm actually recommending 5. It's half. I cut that literally in half. 4.5 if you will. So definitely I think, okay, so here we go. Definitely. Yes, please. Definitely Yes, Please is a good one. The All I See Is Magic. Definitely. 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 All right. The Give It To Me Straight. I love this color scheme. This is kind of like the She, but with more. Not as soft. With more there. All right. And then you have Dream Street, and Perception. Your choice. Now, with the Dream Street and Perception, I don't know how long they're going to be around. They could be limited edition and they go away. That's something you also need to consider with that. But that is my take. That is my Colourpop collection. I am going to do the same thing with Morphe palettes. So stay tuned, breaking down what you really need, what's really good. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about any of the products mentioned in this video, feel free to leave it down below. I love you all, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!